Testing. Okay. So you can turn me up now. Test, test, test. Test, test, test. Oh, that's better, eh? Now we're getting some green. Hello. Welcome, everyone. We're getting close. 1 minute left to go. And if you're welcome to all our people online, on YouTube, and on Zoom. If you don't mind muting yourself if you're on Zoom, because we can hear you in the room, which we'd love to hear your lovely voices. And yet, we're going to get started today. So this morning, we have our wonderful musicians, Michelle Briggs, accompanied by Eamonn. I know. I always stop because I don't want to say it wrong. Eamonn. Eamonn Morris. Okay. Eamonn Morris. Eamonn. I got it. 1, 2, 3. Eamonn. I got it. All right. So I'm going to turn it over to them this morning as we get kicked off.
Okay. Good morning. We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord.
So as we come together in this one accord, we take a moment to breathe together, to cultivate the stillness within. On this time of Thanksgiving, we honor and give thanks to the first people for their love and care of all the land, its waters, living creatures. And we pay our respects, for they are the first peoples and they are part of our nation. And we want to express that gratitude and pay our respects for living, working, playing, and loving on these unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples. In this area, that includes Semiahmoo, Katsi, Coquitlam, Kwantlen, Kikaret, Wasanich, and Tawasin First Nation. And we do this acknowledgement each week to serve as a reminder, an understanding of harmony as we reach towards a more compassionate society. I also recognize that at CSL White Rock, our vision is a loving, vibrant world that works for all. And our teaching is based on the philosophy, the faith of the science of mind. It is a way of life. So as we step into that way of life, knowing that there is only one life, one love, one universal divine mind, we know that we are a spirit having a human experience, that nothing outside of us needs to change for us to be happy. And we're here to walk each other home. And so in this knowing, accepting these truths as our life experience, I allow these words to go forth into that law of mind knowing right action is already happening and following us through. So I let it go, I let it be, and I say, so it is.
We come together in this moment. We bind our hearts and minds, for we all form a tapestry woven from one life, one creation, undivided, all unique expressions of God. We come together now in one accord. We come together now in one accord.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. So, happy Thanksgiving. I am just really grateful to be here, and I've been kind of focused on gratitude these past few days, and I'm just really grateful for everyone who is here. And I'm grateful that everyone I see is familiar to me. That just makes it really special. So my name is Sandy Seymour, and I think most of you already know that. I'm the board president. And just a special welcome because it is Thanksgiving. I don't have any welcome packets because I don't have anybody new here. But that is on the message I'm supposed to give you. But I also want to say thank you to the online community, because when we had COVID, do you remember how things just kind of felt like they were falling apart? And then we came together on Zoom. And that piece of COVID still is a blessing to us, right? And so I just want to say welcome to all of you people out there in YouTube and Facebook land and Zoom land. So, announcements. October 20th is our potluck, and I have to tell you that I was very relieved that it wasn't today, because I kind of thought it was. Morning Sacred Circle is happening on Thursday, October 24th at 10:30 a.m. And has anybody here actually participated in that? A few of you have. Okay. So I haven't actually done the morning ones because I work, but when I did do them, I found that they were an excellent opportunity to connect in a way that we don't usually do. So I highly recommend that you give it a try. We have a town hall meeting coming up on October 27th, so that would be 2 weeks from today. It will be from noon until 1:30. We also have it available for people on Zoom if they can't make it in person. And celebrating, we are going to be 30 years old in November. So we have a birthday party coming up. And we don't have all of the details yet, but you will get them before November 30th. Promise. Anything else that we're doing on a regular basis, you can find on the website. We do have our weekly newsletter, of course. So does everybody open it? Yeah? Yeah? Yeah. Awesome. So all of your information is there. All of the links for being part of the, what do you call it? The Zoom community, they're all there too, okay? So anyway, thank you very much. And I just want to say thank you to our beautiful Jill Inglis, who gave us an amazing meditation this morning, and she's going to do it again now.
Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful people. I would like to ask everyone, or anyone who has their phone still on, to please turn it off. Would appreciate that. Thank you very much. So this morning I'm going to do a very short version of what I did earlier, and it's wonderful to have your minister working for you, isn't it? I'm going to do the talk today is on our personal power, so I wanted to complement it with this this prayer from Ernest Holmes, and it's from The Mind at Work. So I invite you to just settle into your seat, and just let's take a couple of beautiful deep breaths of life together, breathing in, and just take a deep breath in and letting it go. And let's take another big breath in and letting it go. And breathing with ease now. Relax into your breath. Recognizing the stillness, the peace that is at the center of your being. Letting go and just being in this present moment. Breathing with ease. Feeling the flow of life moving throughout your body. Feeling grounded and supported. Ernest Holmes tells us that our freedom to choose words of power and life is the gift of God. A gift so freely given, but so seldom used. Now we wish to use this power so that we may get more out of life and contribute more to it. Therefore, say to yourself, quietly and with deep conviction, there is a spiritual command to which I listen and to which I respond. From this moment, I shall speak the words of love and life and peace, clearly and with authority for all my experience. No matter what happens around me, no matter what happens in the world, I know that this thing called life is forever proclaiming its own wholeness through me. I listen to the still small voice as it speaks within me. And I proclaim its words of love and life and peace, so that they become life and power to me. And as they become life and power to me, they bless those around me. They bring happiness and confidence and joy and health to those for whom I speak my healing words. I speak the words of love and life and peace. I give faith and hope and love to the world which I live. I recognize this peace in the love in life within each and every one. And I draw from this to speak my word out into the world. And so it is. And I welcome back Eamonn and Michelle.
This is a song by Daniel Namod, and it's called One Power. And if you could all just take a deep breath with me, please. One power, one power, one power. There's one power invisible, but you see it everywhere and every day. One power indescribable, and you speak it with every word that you say. Mysterious until you know the truth, as simple as the love inside of you. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Ba'ula, angel's wings or heaven's doors. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, oh, one power. We speak so many languages, have different clothing, different colors, and different names. But different is only dangerous when we forget that in our heart we're all the same. We'll remember once we close our eyes to see that such distances were never meant to be. Call it God, call it Buddha. Sorry, can you start that chorus again? I got mixed. Call it God, call it Spirit, call it Jesus, call it Lord, call it Buddha, Ba'ula, Hashem, or heaven's doors. It's Muhammad, it's your mind, it's your soul, or it's your sign. It's the universe, it's music, Mother Earth or Father Time. But whatever name you give it, it's all one power, can't you see? Whatever name you give it, it's the very air we breathe. It's the power of the love in you and me. One power, oh, one power, one power, oh, one power. It's the moment of creation. It's an everlasting peace. It's the freedom of forgiveness. It's the sweetness of release. It's the joy of inspiration. It's the sunshine on your face. It's the birthright of all nations. It's the boundlessness of space. It's the beauty of a baby, the serenity of sleep. It's the anger we abandon for the love that's most deep. It's one power. Oh, it's one power. What we are is one power. It's the power of the love that lives forever in you and me. It's the power of the love in you and me. Thank you.
Yeah, Daniel Maymouth, he's part of CSL. He does a lot in Unity. Yes, he was. Yeah, he was. He's amazing. He's gone to a lot of our conferences and that as well. So he writes a lot. So Michelle, I have a tear. Thank you. Beautiful. And there was lots of comments online too about how beautiful that was. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And just for everyone on YouTube and on Zoom, I'm Rev Tamara. I think everybody here knows me, but I just thought I'd introduce myself again to start. Oh, I just got to collect myself. Hello, Georgia. So today is the start of our it's been this whole weekend is Thanksgiving. And so I thought, what is the root of our Thanksgiving? I thought I should look it up. So it started obviously with its European traditions, and some believe it traces back to 1578 voyage of an explorer, Martin Frobisher. That's a good name to say. He was in search of the Northwest Passage. When he and his crew safely returned to Newfoundland, they held a feast to give thanks for their survival and the bountiful harvests. The first national Thanksgiving in Canada was celebrated in the province of Canada in 1859. It was organized by the leaders of the Protestant clergy, who appropriated the holiday of the American Thanksgiving, which was observed in 1777. But it was about a day of giving public thanks and prayer. So I kept thinking about this and wondering, how does this affect when we first started Thanksgiving, we came together with the Protestants and our Indigenous communities. And they gave thanks together because our Indigenous communities, they helped our Canadian founders survive through giving them cranberries so they had vitamin C so they didn't get scurvy. They did different things that helped them. They taught them where the fish were, where to harvest things. So I think it's really important that today we acknowledge that as well. And there are Indigenous chefs out there who are creating Thanksgiving menus, and they are encouraging our magazines and online places to share some of those recipes so that we can bring part of that tradition into our tradition, to make it a more equitable way of being. And so I looked at, I found on CBC, they had an interview with an Indigenous chef and an Indigenous teacher out of Manitoba. And what they said is that they believe that Thanksgiving should be reclaimed in ways the same that the U.S. has claimed Columbus Day is now their Indigenous Day. And they said, Indigenous culture is so strong and powerful. And as the Indigenous people, rather than just simply reject the sort of colonial idea of Thanksgiving, we have our own things to be thankful for, including our culture, our children, our families. And obviously, feasting is a very important part. Sharing food is a fundamental to relationships in Indigenous communities, and it will continue. The other thing that they said is, I think that if Canadian government is really sincere about changing the relationship with Indigenous Canadians, that this would be a start by including their culture in Thanksgiving. And that isn't just Thanksgiving, thanking Indigenous people and recognize them, quite frankly, as one of the 3 founding nations of this country. So, where do I go from there? I'll go to last week's talk with Reverend Savannah, which I listened to, and I thought was pretty powerful. And the one thing that I heard over and over in her talk was about forgiveness, and how to claim our personal power is through forgiveness. And how long do we hang on to those stories and to the hurt that we have, hoping for that better past, hoping. And will it change? Maybe not. Whoops, sorry, I'm getting caught on a cord. So I like what she said about taking back our personal power and how forgiveness tied into that. And where there's a lot of times that we can give away our power. And when we, I find I don't know if this happens to you, but it happens to me, is I'll be upset about something and I'll be hanging on I'll say, what is that, when you're hanging onto the cliff just by my fingernails? And I'll be so upset. And then, I'll finally decide to talk to the person about it. And they're like, what? What are you talking about? What do you mean? I didn't mean that. You took it that way? I'm so sorry. That was not my intention, right? So that person was just bopping along in their life, doing their thing, and I was the one clinging onto the rock because I made up a story of what they said and what they did. So who do I have to forgive in that story? Right? Everybody's pointing at me. So true. It's forgiving myself and taking back that personal power. Because when I step into forgiving myself and having compassion for myself, that's when things shift. That's when life changes. And it's when we can take that time to create a different story, I was thinking about the word power, and there is in the Science of Mind glossary what Ernest Holmes thinks of power, and I won't read it at this point, but it is, how many times do we think about that word power and get triggered? Does anybody get triggered by the word power sometimes? Yeah, some people do, some people don't, right? But it depends on our own meaning of power. When we hear the word, we always make our own meaning of it because we filter it through our lenses of whether, who has the power, how are they using it, who are they using it on, and what are they using it for? So those are questions I know that we go through my mind when I'm thinking about it. And it's when we start to use our power not over people or to control a situation, but it's when we can let go of that and step into our own personal power, into our own life, and make shifts within us. Because if I'm doing my inner work and I'm starting to pray, meditate, do my forgiveness work, do my shadow work, do those things and love myself for who I am, all the little pimples and bubbles or whatever it is, that is when I start noticing shifts in my family. That's when I start noticing shifts around me from other people. They're looking at me going, what's going on with you? You're kind of different. And I think of a time I was doing, our courses here with Reverend Terry. I was doing some work with a company called Excellent Seminars International, and I would do these courses, and I would come home and my son would go, Mom, you're different again. I have to get used to you all over. And so he finally said, like, we need to make an agreement, Mom. I can't do this all the time. And so we did make an agreement that I would only do 3 courses a year instead of the usual 6. But it's when it's that shifting, that changing to step into our own personal power. And it's not using that power to force ourselves or to force anything. There was this story about a drug enforcement officer down in the States, and he went onto a ranch. And he tells the rancher, well, I'm here to inspect your land to make sure there's no illegal drugs being grown. So the rancher replied, okay, that's fine. But just whatever you do, I'd be really careful, don't go over to this field over here. So then the officer whips out his badge and he says, this badge makes me the law of the land. I can go wherever I want to go. So the rancher said, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I just, you go wherever you need to go. So all of a sudden, the law enforcement officer marches over there right away, and he stops, and he's in the field, and all of a sudden the rancher hears him screaming, and then he sees him running for his life with an angry bull chasing him, and the rancher yells, "Show him your badge! Show him your badge!" Right? So that's when we're using our power over. And where we want to stop. Because the thing is, the truth is, we want to use our power in a clean way. And what do I mean by that clean power? That's when we clean up our own stories. I'll use the word messes. It's when we do our inner work. And that we can come and show up and be authentic and be honest and have those hard conversations. This week, I've really been thinking about sweeping things under the rug as I was cleaning my house for Thanksgiving. Right? Where am I sweeping those little things under the rug? Whether it's a family issue or something between my husband and I, whatever it is, where I turn that blind eye and I just spiritually bypass it and go, it'll be okay. But then somebody comes along, grabs the rug and goes, shh, and everything flies around, and then you get caught in that chaos of all the dust and realize that wasn't serving me. That wasn't serving me, sweeping it under the rug. Is dealing with those situations and having those hard conversations. So the journey towards using our clean personal power is always about going within. And how power shows up and pictures in our life reveals how our inner work is going. So sometimes we might ask ourselves, do I have a hidden agenda? I found out this week that I can be sometimes passive-aggressive. What? I think, when I haven't heard from my lovely young man, every so often, I might send a message saying, so, alive? Right? And somebody, Michelle Wadley, we were talking about in our retreat a while back, and she goes, Tamara, you might want to reconsider what you're saying to him, because that is perceived as being passive-aggressive. And here I just thought I was being funny, right? And no, so it's being careful about those choice of words, those intentions that we set. And when I'm expressing my power in that positive way of, hey, honey, I miss you. Love to hear from you when you get a minute. Not, are you alive, in jail, in the hospital? I don't know. Right? The poor kid gets thrown under the bus, and he's just the sweetest young man. Sweetest young man. Ernest Holmes says, when he said about prayer, he said, when asked what to pray for, he answered by saying we can pray for anything, but that brings more life to things and no harm. It brings life, but no harm to anyone else, right? It's that place, and this approach works in our power as well. When we use our power to bring more life to a situation, to bring more life to our Thanksgiving dinner, rather than harm by saying, are you alive? Right? That is actually harming him. And I'm actually, from there, when I'm out of integrity in myself and doing things that I feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that, I'm also harming myself. So, and, Reverend Savannah talked about that victim stage of our first consciousness, of things being done to us. And that goes back to the beginning of my talk when I was talking about those, when things happen and I make up that story and I'm being done to. I am just being done to. Because, if they would just change, if they would just do that, if they just showed up in this way, my life would be perfect, sunny, and rosy. There'd be unicorns and rainbows, right? But that's not the truth. It's when I change my own story that I can make my life that way. So then I have to step into that second level of consciousness as life through me. When I can step in and make those choices about what I'm saying, what I'm doing, and how I'm showing up in the world. There's another piece is that we want to be authentic and honest, but we have to start with ourselves, and then we can be authentic and honest with others. And it's about the intention that we say these things with, right? What is my intention? Is my intention to deepen the relationship? Is my intention to be more loving and kind? Yes, that is where I want to go. I want to be more loving and kind. Buddha says, what we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday. Our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow. Our life is the creation of our mind. Hold on, let me say that again. What we are today comes from our thoughts of yesterday, and our present thoughts build our life of tomorrow. Our life is the creation of our mind. If one speaks or acts with an impure mind, suffering will follow, as the wheel of the cart follows the beast that draws the cart. If one speaks or acts with a pure mind, joy follows, as our own shadow. And it also in the Buddhism quote says, each morning we're born again. What we do today matters the most. What we do today matters the most. So we're always at choice. We can step into it and make a change. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I get totally into the thick of what's going on in my life, and I have like blinders on. I feel like that horse, with those blinders that are walking through. And it's like when you're hiking. So I'm hiking and I'm going up the hill and it's rocky. So I'm just paying attention to what's in front of me, just one step in front of the other. I'm not paying attention to anything around me. And then all of a sudden I get to the top of where I'm going and I notice there's this huge vista. There's this beautiful mountains, this escape that I was so busy looking down into that I missed on the way. But that's part of our life, that journey of life, that sometimes we get so caught up in what's going on right in our little corner that we forget to look and see the expansion of life. Because the thing is, our Science of Mind teaching talks about is we're here as the living expression of the one. We are here as that living expression of the one. And I was talking to my mentor, and they asked me, what is one of your main goals of ministry? And I said, I said, well, what I really want, what I hope that I express in my Sundays or any gathering that we do, is that I just want people to fall back in love with themselves and to remember the truth of who they are. And they suggested, so if they fall back in love with themselves, who are they really loving? And the thing is, when we fall back in love with ourselves, we are loving the divine. Because that is who we are. We are that expression of the one. We are that loving expression of the divine. What else do I want to tell you today? I have so many things. Is that it? I can end it there? Perfect. I think Dick wants to go home and have Thanksgiving dinner. I'll just give one more quote from Ernest Holmes. Is one of the fundamental steps we need to take in creating a new design for living is the recognition that we are dealing with a power that makes things out of itself, capital I for itself, by becoming the thing that it makes. There's no separation between creator and creation. They are one and the same thing. It is not this the way is this not the way everything is created? Is not everything made out of that which cannot be seen? Is not the invisible always becoming visible in accord with a form or pattern? In helping ourselves, we are not using some mysterious power of concentration, some unknown force, but rather we are consciously using the creative energy of the mind, which when once recognized may be definitely and specifically employed. That is from Ernest Holmes, A New Design for Living. So what can we do today? Because at the end of the day, I think all of us are here to live our best life. We want to experience joy. We want to experience the awe. And how do we do that? And it's stepping into learning how to live as the living presence of the divine, of the one. And finding out, what are our passions? What do we want to do with this one glorious life that we're given? And at the end of the day, what do we want to say? Do we want to say that, oh, I should have, oh, I could have? Or do we want to say that there's a great quote, and I'm totally saying it all incorrectly, but we've used up this body thoroughly, and we go skidding into the end of life, fully used up and joyous. And that is what life is about. That is about finding those things that light us up. We had a board meeting last week, or I guess a couple weeks ago, and then afterwards we decided to do a brainstorming activity. And it was so fabulous to see the 4 people that showed up for this brainstorming excited and new ideas coming through. But you could see what they were both passionate, each person was passionate about. Everybody came up with an idea of what they wanted to do, how they could support our community. And that's the thing, whether you're passionate about being welcoming and inviting, maybe you see Sandy to help welcome and invite people when they come to the front door here. There is something that we can each do to increase that joy. And I always tell the board, and I tell my practitioners, not that they're mine, but I treat them as mine anyways, that I just want them to do things that they love doing, that is going to enliven them, lighten them up, rather than the minutia of, we need to make sure this is done, we need to dot this I, cross this T. And that is what is so important in our life, is just stepping into that place of passion. So I was thinking about what to give you guys for homework, because it's Thanksgiving. We want to be grateful for the homework. But it's finding the spiritual practice. I really invite you to try on in this next little bit different spiritual practices. whether it's journaling, whether it's meditation, whether it's prayer, whether it's talking to a practitioner, minister, counselor, psychologist, whoever it is, because that can be a spiritual practice. Because we're talking about prayer, and the thing is, at the end of the day, we want life to be a living prayer. That somebody asked us in class, Diane and I, the other night, we're doing the Essential Ernest Holmes, is how often should we pray? How often do you pray? And we came back with, you can never pray too much. There's always time to pray, because it's always about living that life. And that is how to live as that living presence of the one. Because we all know that we are one with that one, and there's no separation. So this week, think about a different spiritual practice you can use. And I also encourage you, has everybody read or know or heard of The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz? Yes? Yeah. So the first one is be impeccable with your word. So again, not gossiping, not saying things to cause harm. The other thing is, do not take anything personally. Oh my goodness. I don't know about you, but that one is a tough one for me. And oh yeah, don't make assumptions. Right? Don't make assumptions. I won't say it. Never mind. I was thinking of something my mom used to say to me, is don't assume anything, because you'll make an ass of you and me, right? So don't assume anything. And the last one is always do your best. Always do your best. And I think each one of us here, we're here today or anytime we're online or doing any of our work, that is what we're working towards, to always doing our best. So this week, let's take those to heart. Let's move through and practice those. And be compassionate with self. Be compassionate with self. And I think today, I leave you with an affirmation. At any time when you start to hear that story going on and we want to respond, take a breath so that we want to react, because that's what happens. We go into that fight, flight, nervous system and we just go, wah, but take that breath and then work on responding. And maybe stop and say to yourself, I am grateful for the things that I did right today. I am grateful for the things that I did right today. And see if that shifts you. Because that's what we want. We just need that shift in consciousness, that shift in moving through, and again, practicing that we are that divine presence. That the more we love ourselves, the more that we love others. So Reverend Don Beatty said, life is not a spectator sport. And I thought that was kind of interesting, and I'd like to add in there, and neither is it a blood sport. Right? Blessed with free will and the keys to the kingdom of our potential, it is our responsibility to use our power for good. Embracing this truth, we begin to seek out meaningful ways to make a difference, ignited by our passions, desires, to create a positive change. So let us embrace the gift of personal power and fearlessly wield it in service of a greater good as we act with love, as we act with integrity, as we act with compassion. We uplift ourselves and others, leaving a lasting imprint of positivity on the fabric of existence. Again, he says, life is not a spectator sport. It's an opportunity to shine our light and contribute to the tapestry of life's unfolding beauty. With that, so ends the lesson. And let's take that into prayer. So, as we breathe together this breath of life, this nourishment, knowing that there is one life, one love, one universal divine mind, and each of us are one with that one. We are a living example of the presence. That today, those God qualities are shining through us, expressing as us. Today we shift from that victim consciousness, that done to consciousness, into that it is done through me, as me. So today I know and I claim the love and the joy of life, of living fully and passionately. Every day I show up in a way that brings more life to a situation. And I cause no harm. I uproot any weeds, any thoughts of fear, of not doing things right. And I step into that I am love expressed in this world. I am love expressed in this world through the eyes of the divine. And today, especially on this weekend of Thanksgiving, I look at each family member, I look at each person that I meet through those eyes of the divine, and I see them. I see them for the truth of who they really are. And that is an expression of that one. They are beauty, they are light. So as I allow this to go into that law with a grateful heart, I say thank you, thank you, thank you for this teaching, for this philosophy, for this faith, for this way of life, of looking at life differently, knowing that I am always at choice. I can make a different choice today. And you know what? I choose love. I choose my own personal power. I choose to regulate my nervous system. I choose to be present. So with that, I let it go into that law that reflects back to me and ask you to join me in saying, and so it is. And I will thank you. And I welcome back Michelle. Eamonn.
Okay, guess what this song is called? It's called Thank You. I just want to, so it's written by Jonas and Jeanette, who are the founders of the Abracadabra group, and they wrote it together with Ron Irving, so I just want to acknowledge that. And I also wanted to say how grateful I am that we have a sound person now. So I just want to acknowledge him and say, prayer works, people, prayer works. And thank you, of course, to Eamonn. You're the best. Okay. I woke up this morning feeling so empty. Wish I could go back to sleep again. Feeling so tired, so uninspired, already defeated before I begin. I look in the mirror, how did I get here? All I can see is what's wrong with my life. There is so much that I take for granted every single day. I just haven't taken the time to appreciate. So thank you for the air I breathe, for the home I have, the food I eat. Thank you for these eyes that allow me to see all the beauty around me. Thank you for the sunshine and also for the rain. And thank you for the gift of every day. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Sometimes I get caught up in seeing what's missing, just noticing all of the things things I don't have, like not enough money, no one to love me. I'm tired of always feeling so bad. My dissatisfaction keeps on attracting more of what I don't want in my life. So many presents left unopened every single day. I haven't taken the time to open them and say, thank you for the air I breathe, for the place I live where I am free. Thank you for those ears that allow me to hear all the music around me. Thank you for the dream inside that won't fade away. And thank you for the gift of every day. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. For the gift of every day. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. Thank you for the air I breathe, for the health, my friends, my family. Thank you to my faithful dog who loves me unconditionally. Thank you to the stranger who sends a smile my way. And thank you for the gift of every day. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. For the gift of every day. Ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da. Thank you for the gift of every day.
Aw, thank you. That's great, Michelle. And I saw Kelly on there said that you have a gift of choosing just the perfect songs to accompany the message today. So thank you. You've done amazing. I love it. So our gratitude today, this is where we step into this time of gratitude. And Michael, would you mind coming out since Michelle... Can you say hi? Because people on Zoom can see you. Come on over here by me. I know I'm putting you on the spot. That's okay?
Again.
This is Michael, our sound person. Yay. Michael's been helping us now. This is his third week, and we're so thrilled. So hopefully the sound on Zoom and on YouTube is getting a lot better, and he's working with us. So really appreciate you, Michael. So thank you for coming and helping us. That's great. It's always nice to put a face to a name, isn't it? Right? And we thankful again, too, for all our volunteers who come early, set up the chairs, make the coffee, put all our announcements on the sign there and on our side. And I want to, this time, too, grateful for, do you realize, people, that CSL White Rock is going to be 30 years old? 30 years old. So... we're going to be having a little birthday bash coming up, and I know we announced it a little bit November 10th. We'll have to be a bit mindful because, of course, unfortunately, it's great that they do that downstairs at Brella. They have their foot clinic. So that means parking is going to be a little bit limited. Excuse me. So we'll just have to be aware of that and figure out what we want to do. So we have time, which is great. So we'll move through that. But, grateful that here, little old White Rock is still alive and kicking after 30 years, right? Isn't it great? So in that acknowledgement, it's time to acknowledge our gratitude for this loving community. So I ask you to place your hand on your heart. And know a specific good for yourself. And know a specific good for this community. for your family. For my sore throat. And just know, as we say our affirmation together, I live in the universe of abundance.
I live in the universe of abundance.
I freely and joyfully give.
I freely and joyfully give.
I join in the divine flow,
I join in the divine flow.
and all that I give returns to me,
And all that I give returns to me.
multiplied abundantly. I am so blessed.
So blessed.
I am so joyful.
So joyful.
I'm so loving.
And so loving.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so Sandy and Ray are going to pass around the baskets, and online know that you can, there's all sorts of ways to donate. And I will turn it over to Michelle
Ooh.
to sing for us.
Yeah. And we're going to sing the I Am Blessed song, but the first time we sing it through, we're going to sing I Am Blessed, and then the next time we're going to say You Are Blessed, and then the third time we're going to do We Are Blessed. Just for something different. I am blessed. I am blessed every day of my life. I am blessed, 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 blessed. When I wake up in the morning or lay my head to rest, I am blessed. I am blessed. Now you are blessed. You are blessed every day of your life. You are blessed, 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 blessed. When you wake up in the morning or lay your head to rest, you are blessed. You are blessed. Now we are blessed. We are blessed every day of our life. We are blessed, 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 blessed. When we wake up in the morning or lay our heads to rest, we are blessed. We are blessed. We are blessed. We are blessed.
Oh, turn myself on. Woo. Yeah. Hey, did everybody get a little joy note? No? Here, you need one? Did everybody out there? Oh, our Zoom people. Let's see. Okay, I'm going to pull one for the Zoom people. Let's see what it's going to say to you today. It's going to say, the way is not in the sky. The way is in the heart. Nah, it's a Buddha said that. The way is not in the sky. The way is in the heart. Love it. So as we take these gifts that everybody has so generously and joyfully given today, because I could tell in the way that you all said that affirmation, I'm trying to get some energy with this, because that is, we want to be from that place of joy, of love, of expressing. We are 30 years old. How fantastic is that? And know that these gifts nourish this center, nourish the people out into the world, and nourish ourselves, that spiritual place of ours that is within our heart, within our being, that expression of the divine. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So I allow these gifts to go into that law of circulation, into the greater good of the world. And thank you. And so it is. And everybody notice I have 3 of my lovely practitioners here today who are willing to do the gift of prayer after, as today is Thanksgiving. I know that they would love to do a little prayer with you if you've never experienced it, or even if things are going really well in your life, but you just feel that you just need a little bit more, or there's something in an area that you just would like a little bit. They will know the truth for you. They will remind you of who you really are. So please take advantage of these wonderful women, and myself included, to do prayer. So, it's time. to end the day. And to get everybody to stand up if they're willing and say with us our final closing affirmation. Something wonderful is happening in me right now. It's this thing called life. It's this thing called love. It's this thing called personal power. I know it, I feel it, I express it, I am it, and so it is. And welcome back, Michelle. Thank you.
I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
Yahoo! Way to go. Thanks, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your turkey or ham or roast beef or whatever. And enjoy the day. And thanks, everyone. It was a fabulous day. Enjoy. And thank you. We'll see you all next Sunday. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you. Oh, hey, look, there's a Liv on there. Yay. And a Pamela. Yay, Pamela. I'm glad to see you. And Shirley and Cindy. I feel like I'm in